Well, good morning. It's good to see everyone here. Happy Mother's Day to all of our mothers. I'm glad that y'all's here. We are in Matthew, the 25th chapter this morning. Matthew, the 25th chapter. I hope everyone came out unscathed Wednesday night on the storm damage. We had some of it, so I can feel your pain. So I know exactly what you're going through. Yeah.
I heard Benny had some.
Yeah. On one side of one chicken house, we replaced 20 sheets of sheet iron. Yeah, it was kind of one of them crazy deals. It didn't make sense, but it was something. So.
And they did find that man.
Good.
They found him in the creek, right there by his house.
Well, there's no rhyme or reason to the storms. I can tell you that. There's no rhyme or reason. But Matthew, the 25th chapter, start there in verse 21, or in verse 1, excuse me, verse 1. The kingdom of heaven will be comparable to 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish, and 5 were prudent or wise. Okay? For when the foolish took their lamps, they took no oil with them, but the prudent took oil in flask along with their lamps. Now while the bridegroom was delaying, they all got drowsy and began to sleep. But at midnight there was a shout, "Behold, the bridegroom! Come out to meet him." Then all those virgins rose and trimmed their lamps. The foolish said to the prudent, "Give us some of your oil, for our lamps are going out." But the prudent answered, "No, there will not be enough for us and you too. Go instead to the dealers and buy some for yourselves." And while they were going away to make the purchase, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went in with him to the wedding feast, and the door was shut. Later the other virgins came and said, "Lord, Lord, open up for us." And he said, "Truly I say unto you, I do not know you. Be on alert, for you do not know the day nor the hour." If you remember back at the end of the other chapter, we talked about him telling us no one knows the day of the Lord, when the day of the Lord is. He's coming. This just kind of continues the thought. You have to remember, why did he brought out the 10 girls, the 10 virgins. 5 of them came prepared. 5 of them were not prepared. And we have to remember, it's just like he said, no one knows the time. At this time, these ladies didn't know when the bridegroom was coming. But you had to be prepared for the long wait. So what does that bring out to us today? What can we get from this parable or this story about the virgins? Be prepared. You know, I think the other ones had good intentions. They had good intentions, the 5 foolish ones. They just didn't come prepared because they were going to go get extra oil, but while they were gone, here come the bridegroom. And I often wondered about that. You stop and think. Here they came to the door. What? What did they say? Let me find it here.
Lord, Lord, open up.
Yes. Lord, Lord, open up for us. Does that remind you of anything? Any other story in the Bible that you might think of? Remember when the Lord shut the door of the ark and the rain started coming and the water started coming up? What did people do? Bang on the door. Noah, open up. These people here went to the door. Lord, Lord. So what does that tell us that we need to be watching for? The Lord's going to come back again. Just like the bridegroom was going to come. These ladies knew he was coming. Okay? They knew it. 5 of them came prepared for however long it took. The other 5 did not come prepared.
There's not
Hey,
a
Phil?
chance. Once he comes and receives his own, that's it.
It's a one-time
the
deal.
gate is shut.
Yeah.
Hey, Phil,
Uh-huh.
we got all the oil we need right here. He furnishes it.
That's true. That's true. But you know, you stop and think about that. Good intentions, you know, we think, well, they meant well by doing that. They meant well. They were sitting there waiting for the bridegroom to come too. Don't you know people today they mean well, but they didn't come prepared? I know a lot of people that mean well, that their intentions are good, but they're not prepared for the Lord to come.
Prepare ourselves by obeying his command,
Exactly. Exactly.
and not just part of it, all of it.
And that's something that he's wanting them to understand. I'm afraid people today, and people back then too. Why else would he say, be on alert then, for you do not know the day nor the hour that the Lord's coming. This same warning applies to us today just as much. You say, Phil, well, man, they was thinking that's 2,000 years ago. Is the Lord ever going to come back again? Are you going to be one of the 5 that's going to go buy oil at the store while he comes? Or are you going to be prepared before he comes? It's just something to think about. I know we've heard this parable all of our lives. But when you get down to the deep meaning of it, it all boils back down to you and I today. It involves your personal commitment. I can't, answer for Caleb. I mean, Caleb's got to take care of Caleb. I've got to take care of me. You see what I'm saying? Now, so look there in verse 14 now. For it is just like a man about to go on a journey, who called his own slaves and entrusted his possessions to them. To the one he gave 5 talents, to the other 2, and to the other 1, each according to his own ability. And he went on his journey. Okay, let's just stop right here for just a second. Now, he's referring here to a talent as an amount of money, okay? Just look at that. It can apply to other things, but right now, he's talking about money. Now, I want you to, now my has here, a talent was worth about 15 years' wages of a laborer. Did you hear what I said? 1 talent was worth 15 years of work. You fill in the blank. I don't know the exact figure there. A lot of money, we would think. A lot of money. So one of them he gave 5 talents to. The other he gave 2. The other he gave 1, according to their own ability. Ability for what? Responsibility. You know, there's some people in this world you can trust about anything with, can't you? Then there's others, not so much. You see what he's saying? Just in this way, he had these slaves here, Evidently, there was one that he could definitely depend on, he thought. Because he entrusted him with a larger amount of money. The other one a little less, the other one with just a little. So after that, he went on his journey. And immediately the one who had received the 5 talents went and traded with them and gained 5 more talents. In the same manner, the one who had received 2 talents gained 2 more. But the one who received 1 talent went away and dug a hole in the ground and hid it, his master's money. Now stop and think about this. Here this master entrusted his money with these men. 2 of them, you could see why he entrusted with them. The other, what did he do? He went and buried it. He went and buried it. So you can get a glimpse of the kind of people we're dealing with here. Okay? He just went and dug a hole in the ground and he buried his master's money. Verse 19 then. Now after a long time, the master of those slaves came and settled accounts with them. The one who had received the 5 talents came up and brought 5 more talents, saying, Master, you have entrusted 5 talents to me. See, I have gained you 5 more talents. Look at me, I've doubled your money. I've doubled your money. Look what I've done. Okay? Verse 21. His master said to him, Well done, good and faithful slave. You were faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joys of your master. For him being such a responsible slave, what's going to happen to him? What's he going to receive? What's he going to receive? More responsibility. It's basically, he's going to be well rewarded for that. We'll just put it that way. Okay? Verse 22. Also the one who had received 2 talents came up and said, Master, you entrusted 2 talents to me. See, I have gained you 2 more talents. And the master said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You were faithful over a few things, I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joys of your master. Now let's stop and think about this. Comparing to the 2 and the 5. We know it's not according to the dollar amount. Because the one gained a lot more money. But what did they both do? They increased. They were good stewards and managers, and they increased. What does that tell us today?
Well, I think that's the other message in this parable, is that it doesn't matter what your talents are. If the one talented man had taken that out and gained another talent, then he would have been rewarded just as much.
Just the same.
And so I think that's another lesson he's getting across. It doesn't matter if you're a very talented person with many talents, or you have just a little talent. Whatever it is, use it. That's what he expects.
And grow.
He
And
doesn't-
grow with it.
He doesn't expect, I mean, yes, he does expect growth, but, you know, if your talents are few, as long as you use them, you will grow, but just like he said here.
Yeah.
But the amount of talent is not the issue.
It's the effort that you're putting into it.
Hey, Phil, the sound of 5 or 2 talent don't sound like very much, but in the underline here on this Bible says that the 5 he gained $26,400. So he gained a lot from it.
He gained a lot, but the main thing that we want to know that we kind of get here, that we can take from these 2 men, slaves, is that they both increased, they both doubled what they were given. Whatever that might be, they were doubled. They were doubled in what they were given. Because if not, we'll continue reading. Verse 24 then. And the one who had received 1 talent came up and said, Master, listen to this. I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you did not sow, and gathering where you scattered no seed. And I was afraid, and I went away and hid the talent under the ground. See, have what is yours. Now think about what he just told the master. What was his reply? Master, I know you to be a what? Hard man. Did it seem like he was a hard man to the first two? Was that how you would characterize the master? Dealing with the first 2 men? A hard man? Here he just give them back. He had to wipe the dirt off of the talent that he gave them. Here's what is yours. Didn't lose anything, didn't gain anything. Here it is. Now the key part of it here, this came to my mind. It caught my eye anyway. In verse 25. I was afraid of you. Why is that so important? Why is this man being afraid of his master affected him doing anything?
No trust in God.
He didn't trust, he didn't have faith, for one thing. Let me ask you this. Are you scared of God today? Don't get me wrong, there need to be a healthy respect and fear in the back of your mind. But as far as God, are you scared of God? My question is to you. When you're working or when you're participating with somebody and you're afraid of them, will you do as much for them as you will if you love them?
If you're afraid of him, you just do what you can get by with.
You just do the bare minimum, whatever I get, just as long as he stays off of him. He didn't. I don't know about you, but if somebody told me that I was a hard person, that would kind of rub me wrong. I hope I'm not that one. My wife's not here, so. So, I hope we're not that. You know, that strikes me when you call somebody a hard person. That's in my book, that's pretty serious. That's something you just don't want to tell them to their face. But this person right here, I don't know, it just struck me as he had the whole wrong idea about his master. And I'm afraid today there are people out there that have the whole wrong idea about God. They don't understand. You know, and it goes both ways. I've heard people, oh, there's just no way God will forgive me. I've heard that. Then I've heard others, well, God is love. He won't send anyone to hell. From one extreme to the other. Now, where is God? Yes, God is love. He's also God of vengeance.
Just like that master there.
Yeah.
Every one of those men taught a talent. You know, he didn't expect him to take nothing and make something out of it. But
The thing of it is, these other two increased. They doubled. But the main thing is they increased what they were given. And the master was pleased. Didn't seem like a hard man, did it? But the one that didn't do anything, he was afraid.
That master had high expectations, so rather than risk losing, he took the talent
said that, and that's a good point. What kind of expectations does God have for you? And me?
I wonder what we do.
We as Christians, what is our purpose here on earth? To serve Him, but also to spread the gospel and make more Christians. Hence, increase. You see the correlation? You see where we're going here? He's expecting us to increase too. And that's not always by number. Let me put that out. That's not always by number. Verse 26 now, we'll continue. But his master answered and said to him, "You wicked, lazy slave. You knew that I reaped where I did not sow, gathered where I had scattered no seed. Then you ought to have had put my money in the bank, and on my arrival I would have received my money back with interest. Therefore, take away the talent from him and give it to the one who has 10 talents." You see what's just happened here? He called him a lazy slave. If you've noticed all through Scripture, God expects people to work, to put out effort in whatever is talked about. When he talks about the lazies and the gluttons and all that, it's never in a positive light. So what does that expect us? Have you ever heard somebody say, "Well, I come and I sit on the pew every Sunday"?
That's part of it.
That's part of it, but is that it?
That's what the guy did hiding his talent.
That's right. He knew what was coming. He didn't want to lose it. He just sat on it.
There again, it's interesting to say, I mean, he points out he didn't even maybe expect him to do as much as the others did. He said, "At least you could have put it in the bank where I had interest." And I think, telling us. Because, sometimes you feel so inadequate at doing anything. But he's saying, at least give it a shot,
Yeah,
and then I'm satisfied. He didn't say he expected him to give him 2 talents back. He just wanted something.
He wanted an increase. He wanted the person to increase, show some responsibility.
Hey, Phil, everybody can sing, even the terrible way I sing. I try, anyway.
Well, whatever it may be, we can bring it down to our talents here on earth. I know some that are great, and it's just even something simple as sending a card. No, I know that's not much as personal contact, but I'm telling you, the day you get a card is the day you're having a rough day. I guarantee you. And what does it do? Brighten up your day. Guarantee it. Just something as simple as a card being mailed to somebody.
Bill pointed out a while ago, where did they get their talent in the first place?
That's true.
True. God doesn't give us something that He's not going to give us the opportunity and the ability to use in a responsible, faithful way. If it's there in front of us, then He's going to be in favor of us being successful.
That's right.
Using what we have.
That's right. That's right. We're going to stop right there. We're out of time this morning, and we'll take up there next week. Thank you for your comments this morning.